of the world, now I'm living. And the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah.
Hey, it's Ann Perry. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to visit with me today. Today we're going to be talking about what does it mean to be born on the 5th day, the 14th day, or the 23rd day. Now, we're not talking about life path numbers here. We're going to be talking about the day in which you were born on. And this is the 5th in a series of 9 videos I'm creating for you that will talk about the specific day of which you were born. Because the day of birth is actually one of your 4 core numbers that we look at really closely in a numerology chart. It can tell you so much about yourself. So let's go and explore. So what does the day of birth reveal about us? Well, the day that you were born on reveals an added gift of potential or support that it's giving in your life experience this time around. So it's a sub-lesson, if you will, and it shows up in various different ways. For example, somebody born on, say, the 4th is somebody who's going to have an added boost, if you will, of being organized, okay? Being a bit of a planner, 4 posts into the ground, remember? So if they are born on the 4th and they maybe have a life path number of the 3 isn't always so focused, but the 4 is. So the 4 will support the person who is working through the lessons around the 3. So it also offers us clues as to what we agreed to learn in this lifetime, which I think is pretty amazing that we can have that kind of information given to us just through our day of birth. So let's take a look at the positive characteristics of the number 5. Remember, there's positive sides and negative sides to each number, and each one of us are vacillating somewhere between the two. So the number 5, when they're acting in the positive, is someone who uses their multifaceted talents in a very focused way. They're not scattering their energy everywhere. They're applying discipline to achieve the independence that they really, really need and really desire. They have a real great sense of adventure. Anything goes for them, and they can live in the moment. I love that about the 5. The 5 can live in the moment. They don't have to be worried about the future. They're healthy risk takers. They don't mind taking a little bit of a risk. They know their limitations. And they work hard so that they can enjoy the freedom that they so desire. Now, the negative side of the 5 is someone who swings from extreme dependence to independence, from independence back to dependence. Okay, they just don't really know where they fit and all of that. They're scattered in their thoughts. They're lacking a lot of focus, and they try to do too much. So they've got their hands in just a little bit of everything, right? So they'll blame others for their shortcomings. And they will often suffer from addictions, and they have a hard time recognizing limitations. So limitations can be in their spending habits. It can be in how hard they work. Are they workaholics? It can be alcohol or drug related or food related, people with food addictions, that sort of thing, relating to the number 5 on the negative side. Okay, so let's take a look at the example of the positive and the negative potential of the 14th birthday. Okay, so we see here that we have a 1 and a 4 for the 14th day. So we know that the 1 is related to being independent, being very creative, ambitious, inspiring, feeling secure in themselves. The 4 over here is somebody who prepares really well. They progress step by step, patiently following through, really good with the details. They can balance logic and emotion really easily. They're planners, they're organized, they're very grounded visionaries. They can see it through, right? The negative side of being born on the 14th is if you're acting on the negative side of the 1 energy, you can be a little bit dominant, very arrogant, codependent, even a little bit lazy, insecure, somewhat inhibited, maybe even aloof or unapproachable. The 4 says they want immediate results. They do not have the time or patience to wait for it. They want it now. So they'll take shortcuts, and they'll become very impatient, very confused in their thought. They don't have a whole lot of direction. They lack the stability to follow through on a step-by-step plan. So they don't pay attention to the details, and therefore they don't have a plan, so they can't really accomplish a whole lot. So that is the negative side of the 4. Special note here, if you were born on the 14th day, then you are experiencing a karmic debt from a previous lifetime. So basically, the karmic debt number indicates that you have a debt to pay in this lifetime for the actions that you performed in a former lifetime. Typically, it means you're a bit of a badass. And so in this lifetime, you're making amends for your bad behavior. So let's take a look at that a little bit more closely. So karmic debt of the 14.5. The karmic debt of the 14.5 rises from previous lifetimes during which human freedom had been abused. So Possibly you may have been a prisoner or a slave in a previous lifetime, or you were in some kind of a relationship that was causing you to feel very oppressed. You know, someone had their thumb on you and didn't allow you to live the life that you wanted to live. So now you're forced to adapt to ever-changing circumstances in your life, and you're dealing with unexpected events all the time, which means you need to be very, very flexible. Remember, the 4s, these guys are planners. They like very much to know what they're doing. They like to have a plan in place. They like to have that step-by-step approach. But when it comes, if you're born on the 14th, this becomes a lesson. Remember, the numbers to the left of that slash include the lessons that you're here to learn. And the one that's closest to that slash is the biggest of the lessons, okay? So that's learning focus. That's learning discipline. That's learning that I have to work before I play, okay? And it also says that I have to adjust my focus. I have to look at the positive side of things all the time. I have to look at what I have rather than what I don't, what I have accomplished rather than what I haven't, okay? So it's learning to be flexible in your approach to things and being able to bounce along and just respond easily to the changes that you're going to experience. So you've got the potential to become a slave to your own freedom through the abuse of alcohol, through the abuse of drugs, and overindulgence in food and sex and gambling and whatever addictions that you might discover. Now, let me make it clear. I'm not saying that everybody born on the 14th suffers from all of this, but I will say that you do have your share of obstacles, and typically addictions can be very difficult for you if you're born on the 14th. So again, it doesn't have to be, hardcore drugs. It can simply be food addictions, chocolate, guilty as charged. Could be many different things. Could be, bingo, scratch tickets. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything too extraordinary, but you do have a tendency to get really addicted to things. And it could be a soap opera, for Pete's sakes. I mean, it could be just a TV show or video games. That's a big one too. So the key to the 14 karmic debt is commitment. Life is going to resemble a bit of a roller coaster, but it will always travel in the right directions if you stay focused on your goals. So, example of the positive and the negative potential of the 23rd birthday. Okay, so we have the 2. We have the 2. There we go. We have the 2 and we have the 3. So the 2, if you're acting in the positive, has a clear sense of personal boundaries and limitations. They support themselves, but they can also support other people quite easily. They're very good team players. They lead from behind without the need to have the limelight. Okay, they're just kind of quiet leaders pushing other people to the forefront. The 3 says that they can be very joyful, a lot of fun to be around, very optimistic, very expressive, super creative, inspiring communicators, really creative thinkers. They think outside of the box, and they've got an amazing sense of humor. However, there is a negative side to each number, and there is with the 23rd as well. So the negative side of that too says they get very easily overwhelmed, resistant, reactive, defensive. They start out being very helpful, and suddenly they withdraw. They become very needy, and often they'll become codependent, okay? Moody and depressed, and they'll become drama queens occasionally. The 3 says that they can feel very depressed, they disappoint really easily, they become overly sensitive, they complain a lot, they criticize a lot, and they're filled with a lot of self-doubt. So that is the negative side. So let's make it clear here, what we aspire to be is over here in the positive side, okay? And we have that potential, but the lessons, life lessons are coming to you from your day of birth. So we have to make sure that we don't fall too heavy into the side of this. We want to aspire to be in the positive side of the 23. That's it for today. So I hope that you enjoyed the content for today. I hope that you'll keep in touch with me as well. I'm at AnnePerryNumerologist.com. I have a website there full of information well beyond what I provide on YouTube. Also, there's a free exclusive video there that you might want to pick up. It's not available on YouTube. It's called 3 Things That Your Birth Date Can Reveal About You. You might want to go and grab that while it's there. And I have a very active Facebook page where I'm posting new things about numerology every single day, so you might want to follow me there. Really appreciate it if you'd share it. And subscribe to my channel. I'd love to hang out with you guys. If you've got any questions whatsoever, post them down below. If you'd like to book a reading with me, I've got all kinds of opportunities and options for you. Just check out AnnePerryNumerologist.com. Love to share your birth code with you. So thanks for checking me out today, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have an awesome day. Take care.